So it is Tuesday, January 7th, and today was a difficult day on many levels. Um, a teacher to co-op I taught today, and my daughter very badly misbehaved in front of the class. That was difficult because I had to reprimand her in front of the class, and she misbehaved so badly, I had her sit in the hallway like we used to do in the 1900s. And it was difficult. That was tough. And then apparently I don't know if we're on the verge of another war with Iran. And I feel like it's the late 1990s when that whole mess started up. And I said to myself, when we were there, I questioned. I was like, didn't we give those guys the weapons? And at that point, I realized in the Middle East, we're not serving the United States. We're serving others there, and not in a good way. And I think we need to get out of there. And I think if we get out of there and leave the problems to the folks who inhabit that area, generally the Middle East, we make their problems, we would be much better off. Because there really is no advantage at this point to us being there. Oh, Russia, Russia, Russia. No, no. Just, there's no advantage. There's not. Sorry. I've looked at it over and over again. We don't need to be there. I know some people think there's political strategies, but the political strategy for us to be there doesn't serve the United States. It serves other countries. And like I said, we need to be out of there. So that was difficult. Explaining the situation to my daughter with the war there is difficult because it's literally not black and white. If you draw it out on a whiteboard, which my husband, he's very clear on what goes on because I get confused. And I'm not a fool, but it is very convoluted. And there's definitely parties that are always involved. You know, there's always a pot stirrer. You see that we really need to get out of there. So I couldn't explain this to my daughter, but she's definitely frightened about the thought of war, um, Trump. I am libertarian or central, but I could be accused of being to the right, depending on your perspective. Like I said, we're accused. I'm a libertarian. I think people live and let live, but I don't believe in big government. I think government's good. I love people who truly serve the government, but, you know, gets corrupt. So politically, it's very interesting what's going on right now. And it's difficult, especially when you have a young child she's very aware and she sees things a lot of times, sees through things, and she has fears, and I can't tell her, oh, don't worry about it. It's something we have to worry about. And I think we're in a particular location. I'm here on the end of Long Island in Suffolk County. And if anything goes really, really wrong, we're kind of trapped. So I don't feel good about being here as of late. Well, actually, since I moved back 14 years ago, that's a whole other story. I was born here, moved off when I was 7, Elizabeth's age, 7, 8. Happy to get off. Met my husband online and found myself like a mile and a half away from my grandmother's house. Really crazy, right? Fate? I don't know. So anyway, that's what happened today. Um, the takeaway for today, or I guess my observation, is that regardless of what's going on, you still have to push forward. And I talk about that a lot, and I think people don't. They give up or they get depressed and they waste their time, and you can't. You got to keep moving forward regardless of what is going on. And throughout my life, I've always had challenges. I think if you saw me on a day-to-day basis and the things I've accomplished in the past. Not as much lately because I'm in mom mode, and like I said, I have health challenges on a daily basis. Um, you would think maybe things come easy for me, but they really don't. And I don't think they come easy for anybody. I think when you see these, or I've experienced mega, mega successful people, and I can tell you it doesn't come easy. Even if they were born into it, quote unquote, to hold on to it, doesn't come easy. These people, like the highly successful ones, and I'm not even talking about color or socioeconomics, name them, whoever you want to name. Trump, Oprah, rock stars, athletes, Olympians, politicians, um, psychologists. These people, they work incessantly. They go on and on and on, and they keep focused on their goal. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep focused on the goal. Right now, the goal is a little foggy. Some of it is, some is not. I can tell you this. My main goal right now is, because of our new lifestyle homeschooling, and because I've had to adjust my lifestyle for health issues, I've really had to dial back on my lifestyle enormously. Which for me has been really hard because I'm an A-type personality who does everything or tries to do everything. Um, my main goal is to, one thing at a time, get my life in this place under control. Not that it isn't, but in the past it was so much more on point. And now it's like, I'm flying around and I'm speaking to I'm in a group with other mothers who recently had to switch to homeschooling. And it's challenging when you're not ready for it or your life isn't built. There was a point um, before my daughter got into school, we were considering homeschooling, but because we live in Long Island and it's so expensive, we realized there would be, a financial sacrifice for homeschooling, at least for us. And there is a financial sacrifice for homeschooling unless you have, unless the spouse or one of you is making an enormous amount of money, which means they're probably not home. So I'm not, maybe I'm making an assumption, but a lot of the people I know who are really successful, they're traveling a lot and they're not home. So we choose to spend time together at home, um, and make the financial sacrifice. But now it's different. So I have to re-gear up my whole business to do that. But the first thing I really have to do is I have to refine our lifestyle. Um, like what happened was, and I think this is important, a couple of years ago, not this year, the year before, both my husband and I had to have major surgeries. Like we literally came home from our doctors respectively the same day, realizing we both needed surgery, that we were that messed up. And it was like, all right, who's going first? And we determined my husband needed to go first, so he went first. And if you've ever had surgery, I've had quite a few. Um, it's a minimum 6 month to a year process. It doesn't seem like it, but if it's a major surgery, it takes you a few months. First, you get messed up. So you're really bad for a few months before they'll do surgery, whatever it is. And then it takes a few months, like a month or two, minimum a month, if not 2 or 3, to even get surgery, depending on the surgery. Like when I had spine surgery, and I'm going to talk about that too. I think it's really important because both of us have very successfully come through major surgeries. Um, is that then you've got to heal, and then after you heal, then you have to take time to heal. You can't push yourself because then you mess yourself up, and then you don't heal. Everything gets discombobulated, like even laundry and just household stuff just gets completely, because you're not available to do it. So if you're on point, you're a high performer, usually things are like, and you got it all in order. But if you have a big surgery, it just gets out of order because you're flat in your back and you're injured. So you have to get better. And then there's, financial things that sometimes come along with that. For us, because the health insurance changed, we're in the private sector. So our bills, as I think I had mentioned, went flying like crazy, crazy, our deductibles. So so there was the financial recovery and there was the time recovery. And then last year, once we were finally recovering, my husband got really sick again. Like, no joke. I think we had August. We both got messed up and we healed up in August. That's when we went to Disney a few years ago. And then September, October, November, December. So we had 4 months where things were like back to normal. And then my husband started getting sick again. And things got all and then I started getting more, like, my situation with my health has escalated a bit. Not escalated like it, yeah, it escalated, and I had to learn how to manage it. It turned out I had thyroid issues besides, which really, so we were both like sick again. So what's happened is the past 3 years, my husband and I, we were on point. We have the guitar company, we have all this stuff, or like everything's going great. And then everything got discombobulated. And you know what? Life happens. I mean, and then a few years before that, we had a flood. Yeah, right? So, I mean, we keep coming back, but what happened was in those few years, like flood, surgeries, blah, 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 things just never quite got back to the refined, fine machine that we had going. Not like refined, but things were pretty smooth or on point. We didn't get back to that. So now our goal is to get back to that, but we have to actually dial back on things more. And, we have a lot on our plate, and the bottom line is we got to get stuff off our plate. How much stuff do we really need? And that's basically, I mean, it's material stuff, but a lot of it is also just business stuff. We just need to get things better. And I think the thing that's at times frustrating is just the energy level required to do it and the time to do it. So we are we both set very ambitious goals at times, and we kind of overdo it a little bit. So we're trying to dial back and maintain a better quality of life. And the main thing is raising our child the right way, and also being available to support my stepdaughter, who's now, I think, 24, to be available for her when she needs us. But she's 24, so she only calls us when she needs us. Unless it's a holiday or birthday, then she comes to hang out. But that's what you do in your 20s. It's cool. Anyway, so yeah, so today was one of those days. This week we are getting mobilized now that the holidays are over, like seriously mobilized for the next steps that we're going to be taking. And we're looking forward to it. So if we get to where we want to be, it's going to be cool. We're going to be excited, but it's going to take phase 1 is going to take like 3 or 4 months. Phase 2 is it's going to take a year, and things are going to start to get really wild. Like, that's the thing. Like, when you make moves, things get I don't want to say they get crazy out of control, meaning you're just like, oh, I gotta do it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah. Like the camera shake gives to that special effect. Anyway, that's today's blog. So, you gotta have a recovery plan when things in life get challenging. That's today's takeaway. See you tomorrow.